हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आप सभी का हमारे चैनल इग्नो सेंटर पर। तो दोस्तों, हम आपके लिए जो 2022 टू 23 का जो सॉल्व असाइनमेंट है MAG01 का, वो आज लेके आए हैं। जैसे कि आप देख रहे होंगे आप स्क्रीन में। तो दोस्तों, हम आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं कि हमारा दूसरा चैनल जो जर्नी बडी नाम से है, उस पर सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर कर दीजिएगा। और हम ये वीडियो बहुत मेहनत से बना रहे हैं, तो दोस्तों हमारे दूसरे चैनल को भी ग्रो करने में आप सबका मदद चाहिए हमको। और डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में हम उसका लिंक दे देंगे जो कि व्लॉग से रिलेटेड है। तो दोस्तों, बढ़ते हैं आज के हमारे टॉपिक की ओर। तो आप देख पा रहे होंगे मास्टर डिग्री इन इंग्लिश MAG01 ब्रिटिश पोइट्री असेसमेंट। सो फ्रेंड्स, 2022 टू 23 का ये असेसमेंट है। और आप यहाँ क्वेश्चन देख पा रहे होंगे कि अटेम्प्ट एनी 5 क्वेश्चन, जो कि आपका एक्सप्लेन एनी 2 ऑफ द एक्सपेक्ट ऑफ पोएम गिवन बिलो विथ रेफरेंस टू द कॉन्टेक्स्ट। तो आपको फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन में किसी 2 पैराग्राफ जो है उसको डिस्क्राइब करना है। तो दोस्तों, आप नंबर 1 देख रहे होंगे, बट हेयर द गॉडेस सैक एंड होली हेल्स डिवाइनेस्ट मेलनचोली। और आपका क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 जो है वो है माई लव इज नाउ अवेक आउट ऑफ हर ड्रीम्स एंड हर फायरी आइज लाइक स्टार दैट डिमेंड वेयर। क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 है हमारा ऑल ह्यूमन थिंग्स आर सब्जेक्ट टू डिके एंड व्हेन फेथ समन्स monarchs must obey. Question number 4 है them with faint praise assent with cleave lure and without straining teach the rest to snare. सो फ्रेंड्स, ये जो सॉल्व असेसमेंट है वो हमारा यहाँ पर उसका आंसर है। और हम जो अभी आपको बता रहे थे कि आपको किसी 2 पैराग्राफ की उल्लेखना करना है, तो इस पर हम आपको वो 2 पैराग्राफ बताएंगे जो कि क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 से रिलेटेड है। और आपको हम कौन सा क्वेश्चन कराएंगे वो भी हम बताएंगे। तो दोस्तों, ये रहा हमारा असेसमेंट का सॉल्व PDF। और एक्सक्यूज मी। और हम आपको पहले जो आंसर बताएंगी वो है माला इज नॉट awake out of her dreams and her fairy eyes like stars that demon wear with darksome cloud now see three goodly beams move bright than has purnas his head doth ready। और फ्रेंड्स, इसका आंसर है these lines are taken from Edmund Spenser the Epithalimonia। In this line the poet celebrates his love for his beloved Elizabeth Boyle. Comment: in this stanza the poem adheres to the poetic convention and also the post-time wedding celebration. The poem can be divided into 5 movements comprising the dramatic action. The poem describes its purpose, the method of accomplishment, and the proper setting of the event. In it, the poet describes the beloved beauty as she wake up in morning, get adorned, and then enter the temple or church for wedding. Even after the clear visualization of the beloved throughout this movement, the poet conception is peculiarly external only. The beloved is celebrated both for physical and spiritual beauty, yet she is absent as a person of autonomy. सो फ्रेंड्स, ये आपका नंबर 1 जो पैराग्राफ का आंसर था। और जो आपका नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ डिस्कस करने वाले हैं वो है ऑल ह्यूमैनी थिंग्स आर सब्जेक्टेड टू डिके एंड व्हेन फेट समवन मोनार्च मस्ट ओबे। द Flecknoe found who, like Augustus young, was called to empire and had governed long. और फ्रेंड्स इसका जो आंसर है वो है these lines have been taken from John Dryden's Mac Flecknoe. These are the opening lines of the poem. Here, Flecknoe is compared with Emperor Augustus, who has power in the realm of nonsense. It explains that the reigning king of dull poetry, Mac Flecknoe, is retiring from his position and that the throne of dullest poet must now be filled by another writer. The poem then, who mostly quotes Mac Flecknoe departing speech. In the speech, Flecknoe relates that although he was able to produce impressively dull poetry throughout his career, Shadwell's ability to write terrible poetry easily surpassed his own. सो फ्रेंड, ये हमारा क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 जो था वो ख़त्म हो चुका है. अब हम क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 डील करेंगे. और क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 आप देख पा रहे होंगे जो कि है ड्रॉ अ कंपैरिजन बिटवीन एथालेमोनी एंड द प्रोथालामियन एज वेडिंग सॉन्ग. आंसर विथ सुइटेबल एग्जाम्पल. सो फ्रेंड, इसका आंसर है दे आर फ्यू सिमिलरिटीज बिटवीन द प्रोथालेमियन एंड एथालेमियन, but both the poem are different in their theme. Some of the devices which are common in both Prathalamion and Ethalamion are the use pastoral setting, use of river Thames. Both uses a couplet at the end of the first stanza, which rework into refrain at the end of its subsequent stanza. In both the poem, pagan gods are evoked to bless the couples. Here the similarities between the two and in Prothalamion there is not any attempt to elaborate the wedding of the festivity that follows the wedding or for that matter the wedding night as in the case of Ithalamion. Prothamion, instead to emphasizing on the wedding description and the festives after the wedding, confines itself to the bridal procession down the river Thames, leading up to Alex's house where the wedding will be solemnized. Thus we see that as wedding song, both the poem vary from each other. Though the poem does not have any direct mention of class in it, but it is obvious from the fusion of different classical legend and myths from Christian ideas and local folklore in way that it essentially retained the reformist Christian sensibility. There is at least doubt that Spencer too was moved by the newly developed reformist idea and he often used such in his poem. This idea shows the beginning of a new class which is in fact was witnessed by the 16th century England. These classes were not of prince and nobility but of people belonging to commerce and trade. This is clearly visible in the invocation of merchant's daughter. The sense is taken to the next level by the use of phrases like ossuary of long dialect which suggest the contractual arrangement not based on the spiritual and person attachment but on the money and material gain. The actual interpretation of poem cannot be better without making an appropriate link with the poet biography. The primary reason for this is that its real significance lies not much in its poetic value but in biographical values. It talks about the difficulties that Spencer, being an outsider to the court politics, must have had to face. The line like, when I whom should I care through discontent of my long fruitless stay in Prince's Court, an expression vaini of idle hopes which still do fly away, like empty shadows which did afflict my briny vault froth to ace my piney. Stanza 1 cannot be considered as appropriate opening for what is to be wedding song. These lines, which were written in the honor of his patron friend, suggest the anger that Spencer must have felt on the whole system of patronage, which was considered as extremely important for a poet or a courtier. Survival in Elizabethan court. The repetition of the same sense of unhappiness arising from the unsatisfactory career can be seen again in stanza 8. The mentioning of Lord in this stanza is reference to the Earl of Leicester, who was Spencer's patron. Here we are being given enough hint to believe that Spencer was bothered most by the impersonality of patronage system, in which one patron can and should repress the other and not the entire system itself. Though all these are merely interpretation, and interpretation which could one possibility but not ultimate. Whatever be the fact, there is little doubt that the poem cries more the song of unhappiness than singing the song of wedding. So, friend, till here we have finished question number 1 and question number 2 from British Poetry MAG01, and in the next part we deal with question number 3, which is who were the pre-refertals and what were the characteristics of the movement. Critically appreciate any one poem of this age or movement. So friend, in the next video we deal with question number 3, and if you are new to our channel, just subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an update. And I want you all to help my another channel to grow. So in description box you find the link of the channel. Please subscribe to that channel too. Thank you.